And welcome back to On TV. We are on location. The sun came out for about a second and a half, so we took off. Got to come and talk to Sonny about some of the things that he's wanting you to be aware of if you're a motorcyclist. Sonny Spina, how are you?
Excellent. Thanks for coming by this morning. Always great to see you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now, what are some of the biggest concerns that you have for motorcyclists?
Well, we know that summer's here now. Obviously, the nice weather is upon us, and we know that there's a lot of people out driving their motorcycles now. So I want to talk about a couple of areas where we at the police service receive complaints on a regular basis. Hopefully, we can educate some people, and if anyone has any questions, as always, please give us a call, and we'll do what we can to answer. But I want to talk about three key areas where we receive complaints all the time. Okay. The first area is actually helmets. Helmet safety is number one when you're driving any kind of a motorcycle like this one here. And if you look at them, I have a couple of different examples here to show you of what these helmets are and really what's legal and what's not legal when we talk about helmets.
And people want to look cool, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, helmets aren't the coolest looking thing sometimes. Yeah. So I want to show you first what a legal helmet looks like. So this is a helmet here that you can see. First of all, you're going to notice it has a clean, smooth surface that is clear of any defects or dents or damage. That's really important. We don't want any damage on the outside, and there can't be anything protruding from outside of this helmet, all right? Now, the next thing you notice, if I flip it around to the back, you're going to see something here that says DOT, right? Well, that's a certification. There's certain certifications that the helmets must reach in order to be something that you can lawfully use on the roads in Ontario. This is one of them. You have to look for that. If you don't see a certification on the back of the helmet, it can't be used on the roads here in Ontario. Now, next, when you flip it over and you look inside, you're going to see a couple of things. First, when you look inside, you're going to see the manufacturer's warning label, and that's exactly one thing that you have to make sure you see inside of every helmet that's certified for use in Ontario. And the next thing you see is there's a minimum of 1 inch of this poly foam here. That's really important. That's the stuff that's going to protect your head. It's the stuff that's going to keep you safe if you're in a collision. Now, we often talk about collisions with motorcycles or ATVs or anything like that. And one of the things that we're worried about is slow speed collisions, where a person is perhaps pulling into a driveway and they maybe lose balance and fall over. This is what's going to protect your head. This is what's going to keep you alive, keep you safe. This really great thick foam and this hard outer shell here.
And it's interesting that it's when you're not moving quickly, because a lot of motorcyclists don't want to wear helmets or don't like certain helmets because they say, you know, when I'm doing 120 kilometers an hour and if I fly off my machine, the helmet's not going to save me. But it's not just about then.
No, we often see people who are in very slow speed, low speed collisions where they fall off and perhaps, you know, your head falls on and hits a curb or hits a concrete surface. These are important. These are what's going to save you in those low speed collisions. We see them often and it's really important. Now, in a direct contrast to that, you see something here, and these are just simply what I describe as novelty helmets. They're not safe. They're not certified, and they're not proper to be used on motorcycles. You can already see the difference when you go side by side on these. And when you look, number one, you're going to see right away it does not have anything indicating that it's a certified helmet, that it's certified safety. There's nothing there. In fact, most of these come with a sticker that say they're a novelty helmet and that they can't be used. The second thing you notice when you flip it over and look inside is there is no manufacturer's warning label. And in fact, when we talk about a minimum of 1 inch of that polyfoam inside of the helmet here, there's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing providing.
It's like a tin can on your head.
Yeah, not even that. It's there's nothing here providing any kind of protection. Now, the next thing you'll notice when we look at the straps, and the viewers, I know they can't feel these straps, but if you feel the difference, the straps are really heavy duty on the certified helmet, and they're
heavy duty nylon, right?
Yeah, and they're really not on the novelty helmets. And the next thing you notice is the buckles are actually plastic on the novelty helmet, and they're metal on the certified helmets. That's important. They have to be these metal buckles, these plastic ones. They just don't cut it. Now, what a lot of folks don't know is that a helmet is not a personal item when you're using it on a motorcycle. It's actually a piece of equipment for the motorcycle. And because if you're using a helmet like this, because it's not safe, it makes that motorcycle, it makes it an unsafe motor vehicle. So if our officers do stop someone wearing a helmet like this, it's actually an unsafe motor vehicle. We can't allow you to keep driving with that. And if the motorcycle is on the roadway, we actually are now obligated to tow it from the roadway. So you can't be wearing these helmets because it creates a really unsafe environment and it makes the motorcycle an unsafe motor vehicle.
And of course, city police aren't picking up the tab for the tow truck.
No, unfortunately, the owner is going to have to pay the tab for that, but we're kind of left with no choice. We can't leave a vehicle on the roadways, and we can't let you drive away with something like this. So really, we want to encourage people to use these certified helmets and make sure you're out there and you're enjoying the road safely.
And we're going to come around to the front of the bike now. We're going to talk about sort of the distance between handlebars and the ground.
Yeah, that's actually great. Actually, if you want to come around, I'm going to jump on and show you exactly
Okay,
what we're
cool.
talking about. I'm going to move this out of the way first.
Okay. So we're going to check it out because these are very specific measurements. And you know what? I don't own a motorcycle, but I had no idea.
Yeah, so when we talk about the handlebars, we talk about a couple of things. There's distance, and the handlebars really are important because we need them to be affixed to the motorcycle. They can't be movable, they can't be adjustable, they have to be affixed and straight. It's the place where your body touches the bike, it's the control you have over the bike. They need to be affixed in a perfect position, and they need to stay there. Now, people often wonder what the distance is. How high can my handlebars be? Well, there's a really simple way to measure that. We talk about, in inches, we're talking about 15 inches. So there cannot be a distance of greater than 15 inches between the top of the seat, which usually touches the top of the gas tank,
Right, okay.
and the highest point on the handlebars. So when we measure that, we sit on the bike, and you're on a flat level surface, and if you take your tape measure and you go all the way to the ground,
Right.
and you measure up to the top of the seat where the seat touches the gas tank, and then take a measurement from the same ground to the very top of the handlebars. Now, not the grips, but the very
Okay.
top. So if the top kind of arches over and the grip comes down, you have to measure to the top of the handlebars. That difference can't be more than 15 inches.
Okay.
And again, if it is, you get into another point where you've created an unsafe motor vehicle, and our officers can't allow that vehicle to continue on the roadways.
So how does something like that and those specific measurements work out? For instance, when you see a motorcyclist every once in a while, Sonny, and it looks like they're laying down on the motorcycle on their tummies, and like they're doing this kind of stuff. So is it the same regulation
Yeah,
there?
it's the same distance. We want to make sure that from the top of that seat to the highest point on the handlebars, there's not a distance of greater than 15 inches.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and the last thing you wanted to talk about is something that is an annoyance for a lot of people because it has to do with the sound motorcycles make, and that also is something that isn't allowed.
Yeah, so when we talk about the next biggest complaint we get with motorcycles is the exhaust or the sound or fumes from exhaust systems. So you can see the exhaust system down here on this motorcycle, and if you were to look in the back of it and you look through the tailpipe of any motorcycle, you should see a series of what kind of looks like restrictions. They're called baffles inside of the exhaust system. Those baffles are designed to reduce noise and reduce emissions. If you look through the tailpipe or the exhaust system of your motorcycle and you don't see any of those things, you don't have a baffle system in there, you can't have that. You can't have a straight pipe, it can't create excessive noise, and it can't create excessive emissions. That's one of the highest complaints we get around this time of year with regards to motorcycles, especially in the downtown area.
So in a case like that, you pull somebody over and you can see blue smoke coming out, or that it's just way too loud. Is that something that you would have to have them tow it back home because you can't ride it anymore?
Well, that's something that you're going to probably receive a series of fines for, and you'll still have to go and get it fixed. So there'll be kind of the double the cost for people there. So we want to encourage as many people as we can to make sure that they get those things fixed and they're out on the roadways lawfully and safely throughout the summer.
Awesome. Very good information. Thank you so much, Sonny. And you mentioned just before we got started, too, that if we have questions, sometimes people just buy a motorcycle for the very first time. We can call you and ask you some questions.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. If folks in town have questions, if they're not quite sure about things, please give us a call. We'll do everything we can to answer your questions.
Be safe on the roads. Thanks, Sonny.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you soon right after this break on TV.